Here we are on Antiga Shipyard and down in the lower right part of the map in the red, down 0-2 in the series. Can you win a game and get close to tying things up? It is Dignitas.SjoW. And in the upper left in the blue from the team, the SCV Life, we have Polt.
All right, so Polt is indeed up 2-0 now.
Yep.
And once again, this is loser picks format. And apparently, SjoW just doesn't win a game if he picks the map is kind of what we've determined.
Could be. I mean, let's kind of talk a little bit about that last game. We had SjoW and Polt both go for that proxy Marauder rush, but you know, Polt just simply executed it better. His barracks was in a better position. There was actually a moment in time where SjoW wasn't making a Marauder. He actually got distracted and didn't keep up with his production there too. So everything just kind of came a little bit slower for him, and that ended up being a big deal.
And the really big deal as well is, you know, SjoW had made the snap decision to pull all his SCVs the same time that Polt did. He may have been able to find a little bit better economic footing, but as it stood, he was down, as we see gas first now out of Polt. As it stood, he was actually at, what was it, 1 SCV to 17, I think, was when the actual base trade happened. So barracks coming up now for SjoW. We'll see if he goes into gas or if he's going to opt for a gasless fast expand. His opponent, though, of course, as we see with that second gas, or I'm sorry, with that gas first, I should say, we'll be heading to some pretty high tech pretty quickly.
Yep, that's right. Can at least get that factory fairly fast. The question is, will he use it to do something like Marine Hellion Medevac, which has been pretty popular lately in TVT, or will he maybe use it to go for, you know, really fast Cloak Banshees or something like that? There's a lot you can do with gas first as a Terran player, especially in this matchup. So SjoW has a couple good options awaiting him.
Yeah, most certainly, and we'll see what SjoW's tech path of choice is going to be here in just a bit. Looks like he's a player who's on the side of getting the 16th SCV before going over to an orbital command.
Yeah, I think that's going to become the standard. It's genuinely kind of the better way to do things, in my opinion. I've switched over. I hate not getting my orbital command right away, you know, when the barracks finishes, but it just kind of makes things run more smoothly if you just get that 16th SCV.
Yeah, and that extra injection of minerals while the barracks finishes up is still nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
And so, SjoW knows that his opponent is going for a factory. He did scout at the beginning of this game. You usually don't mention that with most players, but it's important to note with SjoW, he's a very calculated player, relies on his decision-making and knowing that he's just going to be better than his opponents in a lot of cases, and takes the extra macro advantage by not scouting. Yeah. Now, of course, Polt, as we can see, let's take a look at SjoW's vision. Yeah, he did not see the second gas that's up. Means we are headed for very high tech. Oh, wow, same thing coming out for SjoW as well, so these guys could both be staring down Cloaked Banshees, but we'll certainly find out what path they go down here in a bit.
Yeah, it could be. There used to be a time in TVT where you didn't even need to, like, open your eyes and you were casting, you're like, yeah, and then they both went Cloak Banshees. The end. It was a way, especially like games on Terminus back in the day, man.
Oh, wow.
Everybody just went Cloak Banshees all the time. Yeah, I would just be like, all right, I'm going to take a nap, like nudge me whenever I have to say Cloak Banshees.
So you mean the entirety of Team Arena Challenge 1 and 2?
Mark,
because every TPT on that map?
Yeah.
Whew.
It's a big map. It's a big map.
Of course, Tech Lab's coming up for both players now. They will swap them onto their starports. Yep. And, you know, SjoW's not going to have enough gas right away to go into that Banshee production plus Cloak, and Polt already has Cloak started.
Yep, that's right. Just everything slightly quicker yet again for TSL.Polt.
Yeah, gas first certainly allowing him the flexibility of getting up a Banshee and Cloak at the same time. SjoW, though, is going right into tank marine production. Hopefully we'll see a Viking first out of him, and we do. So that'll give him a fighting chance here, but he certainly will need to save up some scans or have some detection.
Well, SjoW is going for basically the safest TVT build in the book. It doesn't really get much more stable than this. You have siege tanks early on, you have marines early on, you have a Viking to defend against Banshees, and you just kind of play a really safe sort of turtley one base and then expand off of that. Now, some players will choose to maybe throw down a couple more buildings and go all in off of something like this, but this is kind of a really good, just kind of safe expand build you could do in TVT.
And Polt just waiting for an expansion coming down. Of course, he's not going to see one. Cloak's still a little ways off. Should be only about 10 seconds away by the time this Banshee does actually make it there. And SjoW already preparing for this with a Viking sitting around the side. But will he catch the Banshee coming in?
Oh, wow.
Yes, he will.
Man, awesome presence of mind by SjoW to put that Viking there. This Banshee may even die, actually. Oh, wow. The Viking lost sight of it for just a second yet, actually.
Oh, and Cloak is finished, and he doesn't have a scan.
Oh,
in fact, it's going to
wow.
be 30 seconds before he has a scan.
Oh, man. SjoW just making a huge mistake there. I mean, he could have probably caught that Banshee with that Viking too, but he just lost sight of it for just a moment, and that's all it's going to take for Polt to do a ton of economic damage.
Yeah, no kidding. This Banshee already has 8 kills. Not really much that SjoW can do about this. Of course, he can survive an extra hit on all of his SCVs if he tries to repair them up, but that's more lost mining time. Missile turret is not going to complete as well. This Banshee now has 12 kills. 8 of them have been workers.
Oh, nice. And Polt moving away just in time when Cloak finishes. Will he get that Banshee away, though? I don't know. It's going to be very close, but props to him for trying to keep it alive. Doesn't keep it alive, but
yeah,
it's a good effort.
I had to zoom in on this other Banshee, though, which does steal a couple of kills, then has to run away itself. No more workers killed, but already you can see the economic damage has been done. Polt is up by 7 workers. Now, he doesn't have the tanks that his opponent does, but he's expanding out of this. In fact, it's almost finished up.
Yeah. Polt deciding he wants to maybe put a little bit of pressure on with Marines, too, but I've got a feeling this is more defensive in nature right now anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, once SjoW gets siege mode, he can choose to do a pretty potent one-base push with this as well. In fact, that's what I kind of suspect he's going to go for. This is a very, very common build in TVT, especially kind of the lower leagues, actually.
Yeah.
It's a very easy-to-execute build. It keeps you generally pretty safe. I mean, actually, if you're like a Terran player and you're struggling in TVT, what SjoW's doing right now is a great way to kind of start out with that. Nice save with the medevac, too.
Yeah, very well done there. And this Banshee is going to run out of energy here pretty quickly. Unfortunately, another tank taking quite a bit of damage is being repaired up. Oh, but the SCVs that were there are being picked off. The Banshee finally does go down.
He scanned right before it ran out of energy, though.
Oh, no.
Whoops.
You're right. It had about 2 or 3 energy left on it.
I thought he was waiting for that. I thought he had maybe clicked the Banshee and seen how much energy it had left, but nope, he didn't know. He just kind of got tired of losing units, I guess. But oh well. A little bit of a mistake there by SjoW, but this is a very strong push coming across the map. You will have siege mode, too.
Yes, it is, but once again, no mobile detection, and he used a scan and does not have nearly enough energy, so this Banshee is actually going to be able to pick off a few kills on the way, or at least disrupt SjoW's push. What does Polt have waiting for this? His siege mode is just about to finish, and it does finish up.
Perfect timing here. He needs to siege that right away, though.
There he goes.
Oh, wow. Just barely gets that sieged in time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, and he should be safe for the moment anywhere. The Banshee killing more tanks from behind. You know, it really all comes back to, you know, what if SjoW had another scan when his army was moving across the map? He would have been able to have a much better position here, would have been able to get there a little bit quicker. He does kill this Banshee, but he's lost a lot.
Yeah, I mean, without those 2 additional tanks in there, it makes his position so much weaker. And Polt is actually going to have to pick up this factory and repair it here in a second. Looks like he finally does get off a repair, but it's going to lose a couple of SCVs in the process.
Yep, now here's kind of a big deal about SjoW's push, is that when you do this type of push, you need to get to a position where your siege tanks cover their ramp. If you don't have that, they've got a pretty good chance of out-positioning you, and yeah, with that Cloak Banshee there, I think this push is all but over.
Yeah, it looks like he is taking out a couple of SCVs. Oh, but SjoW picks up both of his tanks and now starts running away. Unfortunately, not healing up any units either. Yep. The Banshee is forced to uncloak, but here comes Polt down the ramp now, and he has just way more units than his opponent does. Well, look at that split. That was remarkable sitting on the high ground there, and he is going to be able to pick off pretty much everything.
Yeah, he's got his Marines fairly well spread out. Not a lot of them there, but it's enough. GG.